from the world of Indian classical music will be in Leeds next weekend for the World Poetry and Indian Classical Music Festival. The organisers the event, I'm just going to do this. Welcome to the show, Ahmed, Keisha. Nice
Hello.
to have you here. You're helping to organise this with an organisation called Shalda. Is that
Shalda, yeah.
Tell me what that is.
Well, Shalda Society of Poetry and Indian Music. Well, Shalda means something like sublime.
Sublime.
Yeah.
What a beautiful word. And so you're organising through this organisation this huge event that's happening. It's in its third year.
Yeah.
It's becoming one of the leading Indian classical concerts in the UK, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell me about what's happening and where.
Well, the concert is happening in 7 Hours, Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
You know the 7 Hours.
7 Arts up in Chapel Alton.
Yeah, Chapel
Amazing
Alton.
venue.
Yeah. And when you talk about the leading classical musician, you have Chandra Chakraborty, who is one of the finest Indian classical vocalists in the UK. And we have a violinist called Kamal Birnandra, who actually played with Jagjit Singh.
Wow.
And he was a disciple of Jagjit Singh as well. On top, we have Shahbaz Hussain. I'm sure that he's very familiar in North. Especially in Yorkshire. He's a great tabla player.
Okay.
And what you're trying to do, Nick, actually, we are trying to amalgamate poetry with Indian classical music to make a better communication. You know that we do have a stereotype about classical music.
What is a stereotype?
Stereotype is it is technical. It is for technical people.
Okay.
Because all art does have some obscurity issues, and in some extent it is abstruse and obscure, and that's why some of the audience get actually put off.
They think it's not for them, basically.
Yeah,
right.
Not for them. So we are trying to make a better communication. We're trying to create new audience. With those haunting verses of poetry, we are trying to position the mood of the ragas, the mood of the music, what's happening, for them to find out, sort of decode some of the meaning of the music.
Wow, so you bring the words and the music together and they each open each other up.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Amazing.
Exactly. And also, when it is happening, we are focusing on seamless amalgamation, seamless hybridization of poetry and classical music. So,
Seamless, say that again.
seamless, when it is happening, if you go to any concert of classical music, Indian classical music, you see that sometimes some of the instrument taking over from vocalists.
Okay, right.
So in that case, sometimes poetry will take over from vocalist seamlessly. It like sort of fade in and fade out in cinema,
right. So neither of them is dominant. They kind of allow each other to breathe.
Sometimes, when the reciters will take over from vocalists in one point, so that it's not making interruption. When you talk about classical music, there are sort of some kind of positioning that this is divine, this is a sacred kind of music. So we are trying to focus on, the fact that we are not making any interruptions when the recitation is happening.
Now, tell me, so this is happening on the 14th and 15th of September.
Yes.
Is that next weekend?
Next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's all based around 7 Arts as well.
Yes.
Why are you doing it up in Chapel Alton in Leeds? This is a huge concert for the Asian community. Why is it happening there?
Well, when you talk about 7 Arts, we did something in Carriage Work as well last year.
Okay.
But this year, 7 Art, we find it the venue is sort of stupendous venue for this kind of music. And you know that there is a bar just outside.
I know well.
Yeah. So when you talk about this kind of music, people who are addicted to this kind of music, I think they can have whatever drink they like,
right.
And that will help them to transcend to another universe. When we talk about
we're not encouraging you transcending to different universes with alcohol, but there is a bar there as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the music. Music does itself have the addictability.
Well, you're right. You say something. You call it spiritual, and there is something very spiritual about this music, isn't there?
Yeah, it's true.
It's I think, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think people will know Indian classical music. You say that, and people can understand what it is.
Yes.
When you talk about poetry, I don't think it's quite as well known, but actually, you're Bengali. In Bangladesh, we have a great history of great writers.
Yes.
Is that something that would be a surprise to people? Tell us about some of the poetry that we'll get to hear next weekend.
Yes, we are. When we talk about the haunting verses of poetry, we are focusing on Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore, and we are focusing on Kazi Nazrul Islam, like you mentioned, and also Ghalib from Urdu. Omar Khayyam from Persian. Actually, they do have a really good verses that goes with the mood of classical music. So that's why they are the dominant poets that we are focusing on. Apart from them, obviously Kavafi from Greek tradition, and also Keats. Obviously, the great Keats will be.
So it's Western poets as well that you celebrate.
Yeah.
All right, wow.
And we do have some contemporary poetry session as well. The first day we'll have just a bit of discussion about 15 or 20 minutes, which will talk about the connectivity of classical music, and then we'll have some contemporary poets,
such as
Shivan McMahon, who is an award-winning poet as well.
Okay.
And some others, Robert Smith, Scott Farquhar Hassan, and some others from Bengali origin, Dilwar Hussain Manju,